Hi everyone. So I want to talk a bit about what's the point. And this is kind of twofold. One side of it is what's the point of knowing the truth? Do we actually have a benefit in knowing the truth? And what is the point of trying to help people who are not seeing it, or even people who are starting to see it? Because quite a few of you are making these comments, so I thought I would address it. Okay, so first of all, what is the point in even seeing the truth at all? Are we better off? Well, I know I've had this discussion with quite a few of you already, and I say we are better off knowing the truth. I know that it is a hard road and that it is painful. It changes your life, turns everything upside down, but it's so much better. Knowing the truth is so much better than living the lie. No matter what. I feel that living in ignorance was more painful, and now that I know the truth, just starting to get on the other side of it and understand my true power and opening that door, that is where the gold is. That is where the power is and the joy. So maybe that's what the pot of gold on the other side of the rainbow means. Because when you first realize that everything's a deception, that everything's a lie, that you're living in a realm where you're being controlled and you're basically a slave, and you're kind of feeling that everything is really dark and negative and that this could possibly be hell. And I've been through that feeling. I have been through pretty much every feeling that you can have in uncovering the truth. And I think you kind of need to go through that phase to some extent in order to get out the darkness on the other side. I feel that in a way, the new age is trying to get to the light on the other side of the darkness without going through the darkness. And that's why it's false. Because they're telling people to just focus on the positive, just be love and light and cheery. And this is not by any means the entirety of the falseness of the new age. And there's a lot of truth in the new age. Don't get me wrong. There is a lot of truth in the new age. But there's a lot of deception in it too. Like everything. There's a lot of truth in every religion and a lot of deception. And I don't really see the New Age as a religion. It's not really. I feel that the deception in that is sort of bypassing the truth and getting to the good stuff without doing all the work. And you need to do the work. And that's the painful part. And that's the part that most people don't want to do. They don't just want to skip it. And that's why a lot of people who fall into the New Age, they get into crystals and Reiki and law of attraction and yoga and meditation and everything. And all of that is good. But you have to do the work in order to be authentic about it. A lot of it can be based in materialism if you are based in materialism. That's a lot of people's complaints about New Age, especially law of attraction. They say, well, law of attraction is all about getting material things. It's only about getting material things if you are about getting material things. Because my learning of law of attraction is about the feeling. It's about understanding that you don't need anything. Abraham Hicks, for example, which is where I got most of my information about law of attraction and various other teachers. But a lot of people go to her because they feel that they are lacking control over their own lives and lacking control over the material. And this is because they don't understand the laws of the universe. They don't understand the spiritual side or the emotional side or the psychological side, or that all is mind. And so they keep trying to fix the exterior without fixing the interior. And that's where the falseness comes in. In order to authentically utilize these tools that they hand us with half the information, you need to do the work. In order to do the work, you need to know why you're doing it. For the most part, I was doing the work because I felt like I needed to be a certain way in order to succeed in this world. This was before I realized that it was all a deception. So I was practicing law of attraction, NLP, I did Tony Robbins exercises every day diligently, and I had some success with it. However, it was hard work. It was a lot of work. And I'm grateful for that because it paid off in the end. But I knew at the time that that wasn't enough, that something was missing, because it had to be easier than that. It couldn't be such laborious, detailed, meticulous, rigorous daily work. And then on top of that, doing the things that you want to accomplish. So we're just talking about the NLP work. We're just talking about the practice, the daily practice of, managing your thoughts, managing your mind, managing your energy, your feeling, like all of that work. That's the real work. The actual, work that you do in the physical with trying to accomplish things. And this is back when I wanted to accomplish things. That's the payoff, essentially. So once you've done all the real work, you get yourself in alignment, you know who you are, you know what you want, and you feel it and you visualize it, and then it just manifests easily through you. It doesn't just pop out of thin air. You still have to do the work to make it, to create it, whatever the it is. It's like if you want to design a car, you still have to sit down and draw the car. You still have to put all the pieces together. You still have to get all of the parts. So having gone through all of that and knowing that something was missing, and I did Napoleon Hill, and I started reading Neville Goddard, and even those, they were missing the vibration. And Abraham Hicks talks about the vibration, which is why she alleges this is why she was cut out of The Secret, because she's the only one who was talking about the vibration. And so understanding that all is mind, and understanding that the universe is energy, frequency, and vibration, and how all of that works is necessary for basically just functioning here and understanding your surroundings and, why we're here, who we are, where we are, and what the hell's going on. What is the point? Why do we need to know the truth? Well, are you happy living a lie? Are you content with the deception? Was life better? You could go about your life in ignorance, watching all the satanic crap, get brainwashed and programmed, terrorized by all of the crap in the news. You're emotionally pulled on a puppet string every day, all day. Stress out over your job. You believe that you've got to live this sort of hollow life, filling it up with things to buy, mortgaging your life away to own a home, and you spend all your life earning money to pay for the home and take care of the home, and earning money to take care of yourself, and you have absolutely no time for yourself or for your relationships or for your family, and you're stressed out because you're trying to live life according to how they dictate it to you. And you're left unfulfilled, stressed out, living for the weekend, trying to live for vacations, whatever your choice is for indulgences in order to escape the pain and suffering that you endure because you feel unfulfilled. How's that better? I don't think that's better at all. As painful as the truth is, I find that this information feeds me way more than anything did on the other side. Now, that's just on the sort of physical level. So on the spiritual level, you can't even put a value on it, because from what I understand, the only thing that makes sense to me is we are here to try and remember who we are. And once we do that, we regain our powers. We regain our sovereignty. The only way that you're going to get out of this cycle, this soul lure system, is by knowing the truth. Like I was talking about the new age, superficiality of the new age. You could take a shortcut, but it isn't going to get you there. So you need to do the inner work. You can't do that without realizing where you live and what the heck is really going on here. Because essentially you're still only doing it for the physical. You're still only doing it for physical gain. And then when you realize the truth and you realize the spiritual side of it, You realize that there's a higher purpose for it. You understand that you've got more work to do, and that the actual real work has to do with healing yourself and detaching yourself from the system. You can't do that without knowing the truth. When you realize the truth, you're just like, you know what, I've had enough of this place. Like, I can't enjoy any of it. So one argument is that there's no point in telling people because they're not ready to hear it. They could have an aneurysm or a heart attack or go insane and turn schizophrenic or something. You do have to be careful with people. Too much truth can be damaging if you are not prepared for the truth. This is why it is a solitary journey, because the truth will come to you when you're ready for it, and the teacher will appear when you're ready for it. You can plant a seed and let it grow, let it germinate, and then if that person comes back to you, you can plant another seed. But forcing stuff on people is not helpful. This is why the elites have to make it our choice to follow them and to do what they want us to do. Because if they forced it on us, we would reject it. This is why they do what they do, through mind control and manipulation and puppet string pulling, because they need to make it our choice so that we go along with it willingly. I do not think that it's right to bombard people with the truth, to dump things on them because they're not going to be receptive. But if they come to you and they say, hey, what do you think of this? Then yeah, that's an opportunity for you to say something. There's people who are receptive and people who are not. You know the difference by now. But then, you get to the point where you realize that there's a barrier. So you could sort of sense where people are at and how much they're receptive to. It does have to be a solitary journey, because some people aren't ready for certain pieces of information, and you telling them certain pieces of information on your schedule won't necessarily work for their schedule. So some people aren't ready to go all the way, and you're going to be impatient because you want them to be where you are, and you want them to bypass all of the nonsense. You want them to not get caught up in other deceptions, because you understand the urgency and the importance of the situation. You have to gauge for yourself where these people are and how much information you can share, and if they're actually receptive to what you have to say, and point them in the right direction. Like my friend in Australia, he's the one who sent me text messages saying, something's fishy about this coronavirus. I didn't flat out tell him right off the bat, it's fake. I let him figure it out. I'm not really letting on to him that I know too much, because I don't want to impose that on him. He has to come to it, and yet, he knows he can talk to me about it. He knows that I know this stuff now. I'm just here for him, and that's the best I can do. Helping somebody navigate through the nonsense at this stage, where we've had the benefit of years and years of preparation to come to the stage that we're at, they don't have that benefit. And a lot of you say, well, if they're too stupid to see that this is all fake and they can't see the deception right now, I feel that they deserve it. And I understand why you're saying it, I really do. But if your family member came to you after all this time, they hadn't seen anything before now, and then they came to you and they said, I think coronavirus is fake, would you not want to talk to them about it? Would you not want to share a little bit of what you know and help them? I think you probably would. But it's not your job to save people, but it is your responsibility to share truth if you know it. I think that's the big difference here. Because how else did you find the truth? Because somebody shared it. My little channel, 2,000 subscribers, all of whom I am incredibly grateful for, every single one of you. But when I look out there and I see that there are channels with 1 million subscribers reaching hundreds of thousands of people with every single video, and granted, a lot of those are bots and fake channels, I see that and I feel discouraged. I feel like, what is the freaking point? Because basically I'm just preaching to the choir, and yet I get emails from some of you, I get comments from some of you that just blow me away. You tell me that I helped you in profound ways. You tell me that I helped you see through the deceptions. You tell me that I helped you with so many things. Some of you say that I'm your psychiatrist, and I'm grateful for this. I've helped people. In this sort of larger perspective, is it making a difference? I mean, I'm making a difference in other people's lives, and that's, I guess, the best that I can do. I think that when you know the truth, you're obligated to share it in any way that you can. I mean, obviously, when people try to tell the sleepers, you try to wake people up, they get a bad reaction, so they get wounded and they don't want to do it anymore, and they, feel that they've kind of wasted their energies. But you need to have that experience and to understand who you can talk to, when you can talk to them, how much you can tell them, and how the whole deception thing works and how powerful the deception is. We all need to go through that, because when we hit the truth, when we hit and realize that the deception, we just want to tell everybody. And then you realize that you can't. I mean, what kind of prison is that? That is hell. When you get to that space, that's what hell feels like. You feel isolated, you feel alone, you feel speechless, you feel that you've been muted and thrown into the isolation tank. But you just want to help, but you can't. And that's what the whole truth process is you need to see it for yourself. You live your truth, you stand strong in it, you radiate it, and people will see that. They will recognize it, and they will want to come to you when the time is right, whether it's just for support, whether it's just for someone to talk to, whether it's for understanding that they're on the right path, what have you. I feel that that's our responsibility. If you feel it's not your responsibility, then that's your path.